So thank you, Dr. Pawan sir. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So here again, I am
Yes,
in
sir.
front of you, and I am very thankful to my senior friend, BOS member, Dr. Nitin Sandurkar sir, who is a coordinator of this program, curriculum, transition curriculum organized by D.Y. Patil University and Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Ayurveda and Research Center. I'm very thankful to my teacher and guru, advisor of D.Y. Patil University, Dr. Brukpati Pandey sir, good friend of mine and my college senior, Dr. Gunwant Evla sir, principal, Ayurveda and Research Center, Ayurveda College, D.Y. Patil Ayurveda College. And I'm very thankful to my basic principal staff from your college as well. I'm very thankful and will take opportunity to give my vote of thanks to Dr. Pawan Gulhane for coordinating this session. So let's start with our actually a topic which is known as comprehend the learning pedagogy and the role in learning skills. So friends, first I will put a quote in front of you of a famous philosopher, and he's also educational writer also. There is no end to education. It is not that you read a book, pass an examination, and finish with education. The whole of life, from the moment you are born to the moment you die, is a process of learning. So with this quotation, I want to start with my topic, that is comprehend the learning pedagogy and the role in learning skills. So the word meaning comprehend means include. So we have to include the learning pedagogy, that is the science of learning in simple words, I will say, and also certain learning skills. As a scholar of Ayurveda, you have to adapt. So what is pedagogy? So pedagogy is nothing but the teaching. Okay. So pedagogy is a teaching, but which kind of teaching? It's an act of encouraging learning activities through discovery and acquired knowledge. So this is the pedagogy. Now, this art of teaching is not your role. Okay. Your role is art of learning. So here, our topic is with the learning pedagogy. So pedagogy word is mainly used for the method of teaching in a academy, that means academic subject, as well as pedagogy is the, sorry, I have call, that's why we have interrupted the connection. Am I audible properly again? Okay, hope I am audible. Pedagogy is the method of teaching actually. So it's in the...
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Okay, now it will be clear. Okay, I got the call, that's why it was interrupted. So is it proper now?
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So both way, that means the academic subject, that means the theoretical concept, as well as practically learning pedagogy, we have to know. Now this word you may not be heard before, because the world wide, this word is now very much famous in the teaching and learning process, because it's the science of teaching and learning. So not only the teachers or the facilitator, now the teacher word is also not a, it's a traditional word. So teacher should be the facilitator. Now what the facilitator role is, just to stimulate, just to instinct the students for learning. Okay. And to make available a very nice environment for teaching and learning process. Okay. So we'll see now the 4 core learning profiles. So out of you now today, you have joined about 75 participants. So out of these 75 participants, you may be having these of 4 categories. Okay, so the first is auditory learner, second is the tactile or kinesthetic learner, third is visual learner, and fourth one is reading and writing, who can understand by reading and writing. So the auditory learners, they have benefit from listening to the information presented to them in the class. So they learn orally from both listening to the instructions from their teacher as well as audio recordings available on, we can say, whole media. Okay, it may be on the internet platform also. On YouTube also now many lectures are available of Ayurveda subjects also. So many such, we can say, educational videos he want to listen and can learn. Okay, so they are all auditory learners because they like to listen and they can understand better by listening. So in classroom, they listen from the teacher as well as at their homework or in the break time also, they can hear the recordings on YouTube or different social media and they can understand or they can learn the subject. So they are the auditory learners. Second one is tactile or kinesthetic learners. Now those people or those scholars, students absorb the knowledge through touch and movement. So they prefer to work with hands-on device and learning aids. Means they want to actually feel that process, okay, in the form of experiment, in the form of, we can say, models, okay, in the form of different kind of games, etc. Now the third kind of learners are visual learners, and these visual learners prefer to see information in order to visualize the relationship between ideas and the concepts to understand them. Okay, so the visual learners, for them, say for example, you know the Kshara Karma. You might have heard this word Kshara Karma. That means this is the chemical cautery procedure from Ayurveda technique or from Ayurveda science. So you have just heard the Kshara Karma. But if you go to the YouTube and you search for the Kshara Karma, so how the Kshara is made, how the process is performed, you can see because of previous recorded videos. Okay, so I have also put some Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita lectures also. In that I have incorporated the such kind of videos. So they are the visual learners. By seeing the procedure, maybe online or actually while performing the process in the dissection process, for example, in the anatomy subject, by seeing only they can understand the ideas and the concept. And the fourth group is of reading and writing kind of learners. So they prefer reading the text and the information. These learners can further absorb information by condensing and rephrasing it. So they like to read their own selves and they are interested to make their own notes or own guide. So we have seen those 4 categories: auditory learners, tactile learners, visual learners, and the reading and writing people. Now see here, so out of these 4 learners, my camera was on, that's why it was consuming too much battery. So we'll go for the what is learning. Now see, what is learning? Learning is generally we use this word as equal to studying. But my friends, studying is not learning. Okay. So study is a one meaning of learning. Many people think that the learning is studying, but this is not the case. Now, when you study, you do normally learn, but learning can go far beyond the structure and unstructured study. You can learn from any and all experiences in your life. Now see, I have put one example in front of you here. We recognize this by using some phrases such as the senior people say that I have learned so much from having children. Okay, because I have never experienced to have how to grow the children's. Second phrase we can hear like that, you wouldn't believe how much I learned about myself from that. Okay, so my own experiences of life I have learned. Okay, now is it study? No, it's definitely not study. Now I have put one picture in front of you that the college students are actually in the rice field, and with the farmers, they are actually feeling and doing the process of planting that rice, we can say saplings. Okay, so actually they are doing the procedure and they are learning it. So by self-experience, that is the learning process happens very well. So learning occurs not only in the classroom, I mean to say, a lot our learning occurs randomly throughout the life from new experiences, gaining information, and from our perceptions. For example, reading a newspaper or watching a news broadcast, talking with a friend or a colleague, chance meetings, and unexpected experiences in our life. So we are always a learner and learning process is continuously happening. Now see, teaching, training, and other structured learning opportunities are the activities that one person does to another. Okay, so our post-independence period, academic education system we have adopted. So in that the teaching, training, and the structured learning, because our curriculum is fixed, course outcomes are fixed, and those activities are passed on one person to another. So while learning, it is something we can only do for ourselves. So the learning process is much dependent on ourselves. Okay, so we will understand better more about the learning. Learning involves far more than the thinking. It involves the whole personality, that is the senses, feelings, intuitions, beliefs, values, and our desires or will. If we do not have the will to learn, we will not learn. And if we have learned, we are actually changed in some way. So what it means? Means we must have a desire to learn. So in Ayurveda, that is called as the knowledge is always grasped, or we can take new knowledge when there is an involvement of our mind. Okay, so always the mind presence must be there. If the learning makes no difference, it can have very little significance beyond being random ideas that float through our consciousness. Okay, so the learning needs to meet some personal need, and recognizing and identifying such needs enables us to evaluate whether the learning has been worthwhile and successful. So that is more important. Now see, to make it more simple now a very easily I will demonstrate you or I will explain you. Learning occurs when we are able to gain a mental or physical grasp on the subject, make sense of a subject, even or feeling by interpreting it into our own words or actions. Now see, for example, in Ayurveda now, when you will start learning Ayurveda, this transitional curriculum for Ayurveda, which have designed by Central Council of Indian Medicine, BOG, it's very nice because it will have a rough idea that what you are going to see, a broad picture, what you are going to do in 5.5 years. Definitely. But when actually the subject teaching will start, then something new terminologies you will face. So that terminology you have to understand in your own words and your actions also. So use our newly acquired ability or knowledge in conjunction with the skills and understanding we already possess. So पूर्व ज्ञान के आधार पर ही हम नवीन विषय को, नए विषय को ग्रहण करते हैं. और इसलिए हमने फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, बायोलॉजी के बैकग्राउंड से आप आए हो, आगे जाके आयुर्वेद का जो ज्ञान है उसको समझने के लिए आपको जो आवश्यक अन्य भी विषय है, जैसे संस्कृत है, पदार्थ विज्ञान है, इनको भी आपने ठीक से समझना जरूरी है, क्योंकि वो टर्मिनोलॉजी जब भी आपको समझ में आएगी तभी जो सब्जेक्ट इन डेप्थ आपको समझ में आएगी. सो डू समथिंग with the new knowledge or skill and take ownership of it, then you can understand it very well. Now see, this learning process is little bit, you may say, from birth till the end of life, I am learning continuously. So this process has made, many scientists have made many attempts have been made for such academics and others also to map and explain the learning process actually. It is generally recognized that learning takes place in a repetitive cycle, an ongoing series of processes. Now that packed cycle, it is known as packed PACT learning cycle, that we have to understand. If we know the process better, we can learn better. That is my purpose to explain you this cycle. Okay, so this diagram below represents a generic learning process, or it is a cyclic process and uses the acronym PACT. The cycle is relevant to all types of learning. Which types we have seen? The auditory, okay, the tactile, the reading, okay, like that. That 4 kind of categories of learners we have seen. Now see, the process is very, we can say, repeating. So the first is procure, then apply, then consider, and then transform, then again procure. It is like that. Okay, so we will try to understand this process. Actually, these are the stages: first stage, second stage, third stage. Like that, if we want to go at the first floor, we cannot go jump directly to the 5th step. We have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So procure is nothing but the new knowledge or the theory, different siddhantas or concepts you are going to learn in Ayurveda, like Panchamahabhuta Siddhanta, Tridosha Siddhanta. So new knowledge, or we can say theory or ability, that is the skill, is acquired. So that is procure. First, we understand the theories, the concepts, the basic principles of Ayurveda science, and then we develop it into the skill. Okay, so that is the thing. So the conceptual knowledge is a cognitive domain, okay, and the skill knowledge, it is turned into the skill knowledge afterwards. So the procure is the first stage. Second is the apply. So the new knowledge or the skill is then practiced in some way. Now the knowledge or the theories which we have understood, that we apply in our daily life, okay, or we can say future learning. So suppose you have understood the concept of Prakriti. You might have heard this word. Prakriti is nothing but the bioconfiguration. So I am of Vata type of body, I am of Pitta type of body, or I am a Kapha type of body. Okay, you have learned this theory, suppose. Now how you will apply? So in your friends, you will say, you are a Vata type of body, so you have to take care of your digestive power. Okay, or one of my friend is of Pitta type of body, so I must advise him. I have to take care of his, hot, not to increase his hot property more, because easily he will become angry. So like that, I mean to say, the procure, after that, getting knowledge of theory and skill, we try to apply it. The third stage is consider. Now what is consider? Consider is nothing but the results of the practice are evaluated and assessed. So consider is nothing but the results. So what we have practiced, that results are evaluated and assessed, or evaluated or assessed. It is like that. Now the fourth stage is transform. Okay. So whatever the procure and the after application, the process we have to see, whatever we have seen the knowledge and its application, we have to practice it, and by practice it is evaluated and assessed, we can say like that. Now the fourth one is transform. The original knowledge or the ability is modified accordingly. According to the necessary or necessity of this process, we have to implement in actually maybe in the for our Ayurveda science, for the maintenance of health or to cure the disease. Now this cycle then continues and repeats again and again. That transform again goes to procure, apply, consider, transform. This process is again and again cyclically going on. So in short, we can say the PACT cycle should help to demonstrate that the learning is an iterative process. Okay. Our learning evolves as we develop and we utilize early knowledge for later understanding. So see, for example, I'm always used to this example that when we learn or we start reading Charak Samhita, or for first year students, we are reading Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita. Every time, first you read, you get something meaning. If you read it again, second time, you know better than the previous. And when you read again and again, every time you can relate and you can know it very nicely. So that's why the repeatedly learning also is important. Now we'll go for the learning capacity. See, everyone has different learning capacity. Our individual learning capacity varies considerably and will depend on only on the ability, but also on motivation, personality, learning style, and an awareness of our own learning processes. So see, working on an awareness of your own learning processes means learning how to learn. So that is important here, learning how to learn. For example, in university settings, okay, for example, you are in Dr. D.Y. Patil University. So in university settings, students are usually taught some study skills, which include learning how to seek information when needed and how to use it appropriately. Okay, so this is an example, learning how to learn. Now, learning skills. Coming to that, don't forget that our topic of today's discussion is comprehend the learning pedagogy and the role in learning skills. So that inclusion of learning pedagogy and its role in learning skills. So as a student, we have to adapt certain learning skills and which will be helpful to understand our subject very well, and definitely that understanding is going to be useful in whole life as an academician, as a researcher, as a practitioner, as a surgeon, maybe as a philosopher also. Next thing, that the learning skills we have to understand. Now this learning skills definitely describes the task involved in learning. Okay, so the learning is not a one thing. It includes different tasks. And I have incorporated here the 5 tasks. The first, these are called learning skills. So what is learning we have understood. Now the skills which we have to adapt regarding learning, that we are going to discuss here. The first one is time management. Second one is note taking. The third one is reading effectively. The fourth is study skills. And the fifth one is writing test. So these 5 skills we have to, as a student, you have to adapt. So the first one is, we will see, discuss it. Before going to adapt the learning skills, that the time management, note taking, reading effectively, study skills, and writing the test, we have to, we will revise again the learning styles. Some are the visual learners, some are the auditory learners, some are the kinesthetic learners. So see, in front of you, the picture is there. The visual learners will like to see graphs, illustrations, PowerPoint presentations, different YouTube videos, pictures, articles. Definitely these all things will be regarding the subject, okay, or the topic from the subject. Now the auditory learners are one-on-one conversations. So they will listen from their teacher. They may listen from their seniors or the guides, podcast, group discussions, oral presentations. Again, auditory can be in the form of videos also, because the such, for example, YouTube videos are the audio visual form. Now the third one is tactile or kinesthetic learners. So they like to do the activities. So hands-on activity. So they do, not by sitting meeting, but walking meeting they will like. They will like role playing. They will like something doing, that is the taking their own notes and making their own style of presentations. So everyone has different learning styles. So learning style which is different from but related to the learning skills. I'm not talking about the learning style that some like to lie on the bed and read the books, or some like table and chair, some likes to read the books in the we can say garden. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these three styles. Okay, so everyone has different learning style which is different from but related to the learning skills. So the learning styles, how you prefer to learn and interact with the information. So for example, I will give here an example. You might have a visual learner, just we have seen, the oral, that is the auditory, or the kinesthetic or tactile learner. So knowing your preferred learning style can be helpful in knowing how to develop the skills necessary to be an effective learner. So you have to know yourself, okay? You have to know yourself first, which kind of learner you are. And from that, you can know it better. So see, again, coming to the previous slide, which I have just shown you, that is the learning skills. So in learning skills, the first skill is time management. Now, how you can manage your time? So it is a key skill necessary to achieving your goals. If you don't have sufficient time to complete assignments, you are not going to do well. Use your course outline to stay on track. Now, I will share some suggestions for the time management skill. So the first, start to manage your time at the beginning of a course. Get or make a 4 months at a glance calendar so that you can see the big picture and post it in a prominent place. So this is the first guideline. Second, list all study related tasks that need to be done. Third, think ahead. That means starting early will allow you to get extra help if needed. An instructor, that are your teachers, are more likely to be willing to help if you haven't left asking to the last minute. Now, that is the thing. Okay, so you should not think that my final exam is after 1 year. So I will start learning just 3 months before that or 1 month before that, even though some students see like that. Because seniors are our just friends and we like, very easy task. If they said that you can read the books and you can see just 3 months, you can give 3 months and you can learn. See, our course is a professional course. And this knowledge you are going to use in every step of your life because you have to treat the patients. Okay. And for that, it is necessary to manage your time and give the proper judgment or proper justice to your time and the course. Now, the fourth, break tasks into smaller, more manageable jobs. Smaller tasks are easier to tackle and give you a sense of accomplishment. So estimate, the fifth one, estimate the amount of time each task will take. With practice, you will get good at this. and it's a very useful skill. Now the sixth one, make a weekly schedule that indicates key tasks or key dates for the coming week, such as the dates reading must be done by, when assignments are due, and when you must participate in an online discussion or class. So these are some suggestions. Then some more are there, used to do. So what to do, that list you have to make. When you have a lot of things to do in a day, and use the list of, you have to set the priorities, and accordingly priorities, you have to go for the to-do list. 8th, use the best time for the most important or difficult or boring task. For example, if you are the most awake and alert in the morning, do the most challenging task in the morning. Sorry. Now, 9th point we will discuss, if you tend to procrastinate, do the most important task in the first available good time slot. Take at least 10 minutes break for every 50 minutes of study. This is more important. 11th, set beginning and end goals for each block of time, such as reading a chapter, section, or writing an outline. Having a specific objective to work towards can be motivating, and you will enjoy a sense of accomplishment when you reach the goal. This is the 11th one. Now the 12th, the last suggestion for the time management is, make the most of waiting time. If you are standing in line, riding a bus, or otherwise not doing anything but waiting, take advantage of that time to read or review your material. Okay, so these are the suggestions for the time management. Second learning skill, as a student, you have to adapt, that the note taking in the class. Now we are very much, till our 12th science, we are very much habitual about this note taking process. But when we enter to the graduate course, we become a little bit lazy. So don't become lazy. Note taking in a class is a very important learning skill. So prepare for lectures by completing reading ahead of a time and bringing printouts or PowerPoint slide or lecture notes to the class. So be an active participant in lectures, ask questions in your head, watch for verbal cues, definitely listen for key phrases, and take note of what the instructor writes down. Okay, then visually format your notes by skipping lines, identifying words, using bullets, drawing arrows, creating concept maps, sketching, diagrams, leaving lots of space between the topics. You can do the visual format. Okay, may I request somebody mic is mute off, please mute your mic. So even if your professor or your teacher post lecture notes, don't miss the class. Some teachers are used to give the notes, but it is not meaning that you have to bunk the class. Most professors give examples, details, and additional explanation in class to help you understand the material in a better way. Now, especially for our course is from science courses. We rely on understanding the basics first and then building upon those basics. Okay, so the foundation is very much important. Don't try to record everything the professor says. Listen. May I request one participant's mic is on. Anuj Yavle. Please mute your mic. Thank you. So don't try to record everything, whatever your teacher is saying. Listen for it and try to understand the basic concepts and then make the notes. So note taking is very much important. Nowadays, you can carry a laptop that can be very useful for taking the notes. You can use different gadgets, such like OneNote. Okay, thank you. So the laptop you can use to take the notes if you have, we can say a laziness for writing. You can use the gadgets such like OneNote or Notebook Layout or MacWord and record, format and store your notes, which you can organize very nicely afterward when you will get time. Okay. Next to that, don't forget to follow up the lecture by reviewing your notes, rewriting massive parts, filling in gaps, and discussing with the friends. You can reread your notes to help remember the course material. So notes are very important. Now some more suggestions are here advised by Roberta Mason madam, who is associate professor in Royal University. So ask your instructor, review your notes before each class, use the margin or draw a column to note key terms or the questions you may have. So ask your instructor, that is the teacher, to clarify the points. Now the third learning skill is reading effectively. Now own reading is very important. Reading and remembering information from textbooks can be challenging and requires your time and attention for optimal learning. Do your textbook reading before the class. Interact with textbook readings, such as ask yourself questions, make notes to help you remember the material better. Now, try to do your textbook reading in a spot with few distractions and at a time when you feel wide awake and alert. Read for short periods of time with breaks. Try to go for SQ4R. Now, what is the SQ4R? That is the method which I'm sharing with you here. Survey, question, read, respond, record, and review. Okay, so survey question is SQ and the 4R are read, respond, record, and review to help you improve your comprehension of textbook material. Okay, so highlighting also you can go for this process which the students like more much. Okay, it is less time taking. Most students highlight too much. Okay, actually they highlight the whole book. So highlight should be particularly for few things. Aim to mark up to only 10 to 15% of the content, not the 100%. Okay, unlike highlighting, note taking allows you to integrate your textbook notes with your lecture notes. Now see, you will understand and remember textbook content better if you write notes in your own words that we have already seen. Now for difficult text, use a specialized dictionary. Check out an introductory book on topic, read out loud, or try another text. Now see, for sometimes the terminologies of Ayurveda, you feel it very difficult. So for that, you can use different encyclopedia, or in Marathi, we called it Shabdakosh. So Ayurvediya Shabdakosh, you can use now the different, these encyclopedias are available to understand the subject very better. Now some more suggestions are here. Do the required reading on a regular basis. Keep a weekly schedule. Preview material to get an overview. See how the chapter is organized. Consider the author's writing style and potential basis. Use different reading speeds as appropriate. Pay attention to your attention. Think of questions to answer as you read through the material. Now, some suggestions here are made by Roberta Mason. Reflect on the material as you said, how it is valuable. Summarize what you have read. Note important points. Integrate with lectures, notes, or the text margins. Take breaks. Set targets to work towards and break in between. Now review your readings on a regular basis. Okay, what you are reading, you have to review it. Now the fourth learning skill is study skills. So review your notes on regular basis, combine your textbook notes and lecture notes and identify what you need help with well before the exam. So identify as many details about the exam as you can, its worth, length, content topic, its format. Now make a study guide of your own. You can print or gather up lecture notes, organize into topic piles, then label the piles and possibly condense your notes again by topic. Now see, such courses like our course also, BMS graduate course, it is a problem solving courses. Gather up all the problems from your lecture notes, textbooks, and the labs. Copy sample questions onto blank sheets and practice solving the problems at your own. So make an outline of the course as a great study tool. Focus on broad subjects and key issues so that everything fits on 1 to 2 page. So notes should be like that. Find a good time and place to study that is free from distractions. Break up your studying into 30 to 60 minutes chunks with 5 to 10 minutes breaks in between. When you study, don't just read your notes again and again. Instead of that, explain the material out loud, teach the material to a friend, do a practice quiz, and solve problems. So such techniques you have to adapt. So these are the learning skills. Join or create a study group for an exam. To help your study, draw diagrams, concept maps to visually represent, and then content show the relationships. Visit your teacher or professor after the exam has been marked. Ask to view the exam to see whether you made mistakes and correct them the next time. So this practice is also very much important. Some more suggestions can be added like study in a quiet, comfortable place or the location where distractions are minimal that we have already seen. You must be organized. Make a study schedule by breaking down what you have to do. How have all your materials with you, that care you have to take. Gather information about the test from your teacher. For example, will the test be multiple choice, short answer questions, or long answer questions, or a combination of all these? So these you have to know previously. Now the fifth, taking test. Ultimately, what we have learned that we have to express in words or we have to perform better in our test. So taking test is also important. Taking a test can be extremely stressful for everyone, for myself also. Okay. However, with the right approach, you will know that you are ready for the exam. There are many types of exam questions, including true, false, multiple choice, and the essay questions. Especially for Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, I am saying, and definitely D.Y. Patil University will also have the same framework of questions. Short answer questions basically we have, and the long answer questions, or which are also called as essay questions. So when answering short answer questions, we have to consider the following points. Check the instructions to see if you can use point from answers. Second, answer the questions directly, be brief and to the point. Third, organize your response. Be sure to answer sub questions. Don't forget, sometimes there is no, like, for example, from Padartha Vigyan subject I am saying, Ayu, that is the life, word, meaning, and its synonyms. So, Ayu, Vyakhya, Ani Paryay. That means you have to write the definition of Ayu as well as the synonyms. Sometimes the student too forget to write the synonyms. So that means sub questions also we have to take in our consideration. Now the fifth is provide specific examples is very much important. That means giving examples indicates that you have understand that particular topic in a better way. Now the second type of question pattern is long answer questions. So while writing long answer questions, we have to go for certain points. When answering an essay question, you want to demonstrate that you understand the question, know the facts involved, and can support your position, and can demonstrate your critical thinking skills of particular subjects. To accomplish this goal, we have to consider following points. So first, read the directions carefully. You may not have to answer all the questions because sometimes there is answer to of the following 5 essay questions, and some students are used to write all 5. So it is meaningless. You have to choose the 4 questions which you can write better way, and the 5th you have to skip. So see, these are the small things, but many times, even though now in my last 18 years of academic career, at least in 20 answer sheets, I found 2 or 3 students are writing like that. So it is a very pity situation that you are wasting your time. Now the next, read each question several times and make notes beside each. What were your thoughts after reading the question? Okay, that means your own knowledge you have to reflect in it. Now plan your time. These are very simple instructions, but we have to make sure that we have to follow it. Start with the easiest question. Organize your answers by first creating an outline, even if you are not asked to do it. Make sure your answers are covering all parts of the questions. Answer the questions directly in your first sentence. Use your best argument first. Expand on your first statement and follow your outline. Avoid unsupported opinions that you have to, in specifically Ayurveda, we have opinions of Charak Samhita, then we have quotations of Sushruta, sometimes we give quotations of Ashtanga Hridaya Samhita, that you have to give that opinions with the names, appropriate references. You should not make a comment on your own. Then writing style should be naturally that keep your sentences simple and to the point. Don't go overboard trying to impress the instructor with big words and long complicated sentences. So your sentences of description should be very small and simple. Then the 10th point, end with a big conclusion that summarizes the major points of your response. Then check grammar and spelling. If you have no idea how to answer the question, start by writing an outline, as it may help you to recall more information. And the most important thing is, if you are still stuck, write the best answer you can. You could get partially marks for your ideas, and partially marks are better than no marks. Okay, so these are some practical skills which I have shared with you. Okay, so here I will like to conclude and will be open for all of you for the question and answer session. So here, intelligence, again with the same famous philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti ji, that is very much famous with the word J. Krishnamurti. Intelligence is the capacity to perceive the essential, the what is, and to awaken this capacity in oneself and in others is education. So that is the purpose of education. So with this quotation, I will like to wrap up my lecture, and it is open to all of you. If you have questions, welcome. Thank you, one and all. Any questions, please?